All right, hello, welcome everybody. Thank you for being patient while we sorted out our little technical quirks here. So our panel today is about community. Start small, grow loud, how to build a game community from scratch. My name is Janie Hughes, and I am the maker of Bingo Bard, which some of you may have already played. It's a super fun social bingo game for events just like this. If you have not played, make sure you scan the QR and play because there are some cool prizes that you could be eligible for when you get a bingo. So we're going to just go down the panel, do some quick introductions, and then we'll get started. So I will pass the mic to my friend Ashley.
Hi, I'm Ashley Breazeale. I am the chair of the NC Triangle IPBA board. I've also worked with Bigger Boss Games, and I'm a product manager.
Hey everyone, my name is Stritzinger, and I am the founder of Old Hara Studios, where we make immersive media for environmental and social impact. And I would love for you to come by and try my game just around the corner. It's called Breazeale Jeju Diving School, and it's a free diving simulation that teaches you all about Korean culture and traditional ecological knowledge. So come over, try it out, and we'll love your feedback.
Hello everyone, my name is Michael Nato. I make indie games in my tiny studio, Too Much Tomato. 5 years ago I also founded Triangle Interactive Arts Collective.
Pause for train.
Oh,
I said pause for train.
And yeah, so that's a community for game devs here. I think most everyone is aware of that. Cool, alright, excited for the panel. Here you go.
Hi, I'm Briles. I'm the founder and director of OCD Indie Games and the current director of Triangle Interactive Arts Collective. And OCD Indie Games will be October 24th this year. I also do some community management, some social stuff, event stuff. Yeah.
All right, thank you all for that. So one thing that I wanted to kind of kick off with, I know that all of us here have helped build some pretty awesome communities, but I'd love to hear from everyone, what is a community that you maybe helped build, but maybe just participated in or were a member of that had some sort of meaningful impact on your life? And let's see, I don't know who wants to start, but I'll let one of my lovely panelists start.
So the first time that I remember, I guess it was a very virtual community, was Halo 2. I found people who played with on Halo 2, and those were my friends for a long time before I had some really good in-person friends, and then we just started gaming together. But then the cosplay community, once I started cosplaying and I found the cosplayers, that was like a very tight community, and I learned quite a lot.
For me, an inspirational community that I was part of for a very brief amount of time was, it's called Gumbo in New York City. They're a group of game developers that I had gone to PAX East and spent some time kind of volunteering with their booths and stuff, and I just saw how tight-knit they were, how they were helping each other out, and I was just like, wow, this is very cool that this kind of thing can exist, that people from an area that live close to each other can support each other and celebrate each other's work. So that was very inspirational for me.
Community that really helped me out was actually a Discord group that formed through a group of friends that I just kept meeting at different meetups in San Francisco back when I lived in the Bay Area. And we all just stuck together, and then COVID hit, and that group ended up getting even more active after that. So even after I moved to the East Coast, I still stayed in touch with all these women who were part of this emerging technology, immersive media group, and it helped me get my first client for my business, so that was really awesome.
For me, it was Happy Peaks in Boston. That's where I met my absolute best friend in the world. They did lots of great events. That's how I got started with the Boston Festival of Indie Games up in Boston. It was a great community. Love them.
So I kind of feel like now I'm going to cheat a little bit. So Women in Games is a very impactful community for me that I've been a part of. However, before this panel, I joked with my panelists. I said, everyone's not allowed to say TIAC because I don't want all five of us to just talk about how awesome and meaningful TIAC has been in our lives. But since no one mentioned it, I will now take that opportunity. I thought one of you would. No, I thought one of you would. So Triangle Interactive Arts Collective, I'm sure by now probably everybody knows that's what TIAC stands for. And I used to call it TIAC, and they used to make fun of me. because they were like, it's TX, but like in a nice way, not like in a mean way. But that's been super meaningful for me because like I have always been a gamer, but I didn't actually work in games like at all until just a few years ago. And I mean, I didn't know there were like other people like me around that like were just super nerds and like super friendly and like to play games together. And I always joke that like I'm the oldest person usually there by about 10 years, but like I'm the only person that ever feels that way or mentions it. Like nobody's ever like, oh, what's that old lady doing here? They're always like just super gracious and like just like to have a good time. So like finding that group really has just made like such a huge impact and is why I'm here right now. And I even made this game because it was going to their co-working sessions that they had. And I would like my husband and I would go and we work on like boring, crappy client work. And then like I think it was Tim would just like, hey, why don't you guys make a game? We were like, hey, why don't we make that bingo game we used to always like joke about making? And that is like why I'm here. So that has been meaningful. And again, now I feel like I'm cheating because I told you guys not to all talk about it. But yeah, so yeah. So thank you all for that. So with all of that, let's go ahead and jump into our questions because of course I made a list of questions. Okay, so this is the first one that I think is a good point to make. What's the difference between having players and like having a real community? And I think Briles, you've done a lot of like communities for the different like Nope Challenge and that kind of stuff. So what's the difference between like just having players that are playing that game and like feeling like it's an actual community or like, you know, nurturing it into a community?
Yeah, so having players in game is cool. Like you can see players in game. If you have a multiplayer game, you know, you might be able to play with them in game, interact with them, never speak to them again. You might also be able to see like your reviews and what they're saying on your reviews. But then we try to get them into Discord, and now anyone who is in the Discord, like we play different games together. We're starting to get to know one another. They'll start joining other community Discords. So having players stay with you in your community, that can like then lead to more players coming to your community. That can lead to them doing like content, playing the game, and posting it on their YouTubes and helping you with like basically free marketing. Those are some examples.
Yeah, I like to think about stuff like that where players can just engage with your game at a very surface level, but if they want to go deeper, if they want to be more invested in your game, if they want to talk to other people, if they want this like something deeper and more meaningful out of the games or your series, and even if you're making single player games and you have a bunch of them and people just want to talk about them with other people that are really into them, that's kind of like community is there to be like that deeper engagement level that I see.
Yeah, I was just gonna say similar things, echoing both of you. Basically, as if you can get your players to go on beyond the surface level experience and really engage with your work and share their feedback, and maybe they come to playtesting events and they want to be involved somehow with just sharing it with their friends, things like that. Like that's what's really helped me feel a sense of community, even though I'm a solo developer. I don't always have time to work on building community actively, but a lot of those things happen organically when you meet people who are just passionate about whatever topic you're working on. So when you find people who just get emotionally kind of involved and excited, it's a good place for you to grow your community.
Yeah, so echoing everything everybody else said, it's really about building champions as well. The people who are in your community are the people who are always going to speak up for you and always going to be there for you. They've got great feedback, and they're the people that you really want to lift up because they lift you up.
Awesome. So let's talk about building communities just from scratch, right? So can you each tell us a little bit about some of the communities that you've helped build? And going even further, and yes, I can reread this, but like when you were starting out, like what did day one actually look like? Like, was it just you? Was it you and one other person? Like, what did that look like for you? Maybe we'll start with Michael on this one.
Yeah, so I guess when me and Kurt started Triangle Interactive, we hosted we made a little meetup.com account and we hosted our first co-working event and no one showed up. So it's kind of like, it's like, all right, well, we'll do it again next week, and then one person showed up, right? So I think the thing that I really, we'll probably talk about this several times on this panel, is just like having a regularly recurring thing. Like I call it like a heartbeat event. It's like, okay, it's like no matter what, we're meeting at the Frontier. We're doing co-working on Thursday. If no one shows up, whatever, we'll get some work done. If people show up, then we can, you know, welcome them warmly and hope they tell their friends. And you just kind of, I also, another analogy I said is like, we're just going to wave our flag for a while. Just wave it and then people will just show up. And so it does take some courage. Like it accesses like feelings like of being a kid or something and you didn't get picked for the team or like no one showed up to your party. Like, you know, like it can feel like emotionally vulnerable, but it does help having like a co-founder. Like I think having Kirk there really helped. You know, we both kind of riffed off each other and were able to kind of keep this positive energy going even though no one was showing up at the events early on. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to echo that. Like, the same, even if it was like a virtual event, I think the first time I did an indie game was Battle Slogs, and we showed up at the Mighty Rabbit office, the old one, and we just picked a day that we would stream together, and then all the devs would get together, and we would stream on the same day, and then we would start doing stuff with like hats in game. Anyone who had entered the stream for the first time got their own hat in game, and Adrian would sit there and he would just make that hat, and then it was forever in the game. It was just the same concept, only virtual. And then that led to the Discord, which was like kind of new at the time, but
Yeah, for me, starting a community was very lonely and isolating because I for my game, which is Jeju, I created an Instagram first because I thought that's the first logical step to starting to build your community. And then, of course, I created a Discord. But you can't just create those and not manage them. So it's like a very slow process of trying to, little by little, experiment and figure out how to create content and how to manage those and organize it. And I ended up realizing like it's 2 full-time jobs to be developer and manage this community. So I hired a contractor to help me set up the Discord a little bit better and create like rules and guidelines for that, which was really helpful. And as I raise more funding, I'm definitely going to need to hire someone full-time to help with that because I can't keep doing it by myself. And I ended up having to decide, you know, do I want to do development today or community building? And it's a hard decision, you know. And sometimes, like when events like this happen, I'll spend a few weeks focused on community because that's kind of more relevant in the near term, and then I'll switch back to developer hat later. Yeah, it's always changing, but yeah, this group TIAC has been huge too. Playtest nights have helped grow my community, and I traveled to Breazeale last year, which really was a big part of growing that. So I'll share more about that later.
So when we started Bigger Boss Games, we just opened the Discord and we're like, oh, people will come because there's Discord. Like, it's empty. There's nothing going on. And so we brought a young woman on to help us with our community. And now Bigger Boss Games focuses on Fortnite games in Fortnite. She brought in all of her friends from her musical composer class, which was great and was awesome, but they weren't really our target players, and so they were mostly coming in to showcase their work, to show what they were doing, and it ended up turning into like a showcase of music that people were doing, which was great, but it slowly fizzled out because that wasn't our core, what we were looking to do. We were looking to play our Fortnite games, and so we kind of fumbled our initial start, but then we moved on from there, and I think you have some questions about that later. So
I was going to say that this will segue nicely into the Discord question. But yeah, so I was fortunate to be able to help relaunch the local chapter of IGDA here because it had kind of died during COVID, and then I just stumbled into an ECGC talk where I made the mistake of raising my hand when they said, "Is there anyone interested or that wants to go to IGDA events or whatever?" And so I kind of got roped in with David to do that. And the main thing we did to relaunch the community is, I think everyone's going to touch on this a little bit, we relied on other people already in the community that were successful and that were already doing the thing so that we weren't like starting from scratch. And so I think the very first meeting that David scheduled was, Michael, that was the first time I think I met you. you were at that meeting, and then the guy that does the game dev drink up, who I feel bad I can't think of his name. Josh was there, and it was just like, hey, how can we all kind of resuscitate this thing and do it kind of together and not in competition, but in like collaboration. So like kind of get just more things going, but then also that consistency, like we talked about, that heartbeat. We like immediately were like, we're gonna do quarterly the whatever Gamers Geekery events. We're gonna do that quarterly, and we're gonna do this quarterly speaker series. Then we're gonna scramble and try to figure out how to fill out that last slot. And so we're doing something every month, and I think in the beginning we did a playtest night with you all. Was like one of those, and we did like a micro talk thing in that space. But yeah, it was really about relying on the people that were already doing it to not completely start from scratch in like a vacuum. Because I think doing anything in a vacuum, like it's going to be exponentially more difficult to do it that way than to like utilize the resources that are already existing. So yes, let's segue into that Discord question. Because I know for my own game, I am horrible with social media. I have ADHD, so like I don't want to do it because then I'll just be doing it all day and like not doing anything else. So then I just forget it because it's like out of sight, out of mind. So I set up a Discord for my game, and all of my friends were very kind and joined it, and I think I've posted like 4 things in there in the past year. So like I know that is important to like actually post things and engage and like have someone, like you said, you have someone helping you, and you said you had the girl that came and helped you all. So like with having a Discord server, what separates a dead server, like mine probably, from an active one? And like what are some tips for keeping it engaging? Like yes, having help is important, but like what are some ways to keep it engaging, to keep it interesting, to keep people wanting to participate and check it?
So one of the things to think about with a Discord server is, what does it actually mean to have a dead server? So we have this expectation that if you have thousands of members, that all thousands of them are going to be talking at the same time. That's just not the reality of the case. Really what you're looking at is you want 5% of your active Discord people, or you want 5% of your Discord members to be active. And that is a great community. Now, as far as dealing with a dead community, that is something I can speak to personally. IGBA Discord is for trying to move it through, get more involvement.
Stir the pot.
Stir the pot. But some of the things that you can do is, first of all, get your friends in there, get other people, get a buddy in there to start talking. Just keep constant conversation going. And then tag people. If you know somebody has a particular project in the community, say, hey, this thing's coming up, are you interested in this? And call out members specifically. And then the last thing I'll say is, to Michael's point, is about having that heartbeat event and just having consistency. When you have consistency, you can grow.
Yeah, and on the topic of dead servers, I would say I probably count as having a dead server right now. I'm guilty of that. I've had to sacrifice it because I did decide I wanted to invest my time in IRL community, and that's just a sacrifice. You know, you have to make your own call when you have limited resources. You know, you can only do so many things at once. But I was focused. I've been focused mostly on actual development and design of the game, and then just meeting people in person and just getting their feedback in person is so much easier when you have a virtual reality experience. It's hard to send a link to people and get any meaningful feedback from that. So I just find much better results going to events and conferences and showing the game, and it helps spread the word. And even though I'm kind of somewhat intentionally neglecting the Discord right now, I know that there's going to be a time when I am able to go back and invest the time to really build that out and make it engaging. And it's hard to not be able to do both right now.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging with limited resources. I feel that very much as a solo developer. So the Discord for my game, I just had it sitting for a long time. Like I didn't really believe that I wanted to invest time in it because it's another job, right? You have to maintain it, you have to make it feel active, you have to moderate it if people start arguing in there, right?
Getting the train again.
So, yeah, I think what kind of opened my mind up a little bit with it, with regards to my own games, like with Triangle Interactive starting that Discord and growing it, is like the goal is very clear. It's like we're all trying to support each other. We're all, celebrating each other's work. We're hosting events all the time. We're talking about all those things. So it felt like very natural that just grew, right? But for small solo developed games that release every 2 to 3 years, like what do people talk about in there? What's the goal beyond like, oh, any updates on the game? No, okay, we have to wait like 2 or 3 months for another update, right? So for me, my games Discord kind of evolved into like a hub for the stream that I was running. So I would just do game development streams where I work on my game. I kind of encourage other people to work on their games, and so I would kind of post when I'm streaming on there, or like stuff that we were talking about on the stream. So that kind of became like, okay, well, I can now kind of, this is integrated in my development process now, where it's something more to talk about, and it's not crazy active or anything, but it's like, okay, I'm happy with what this Discord's goal is now. I feel like all the people that are here kind of know that they're here for a reason, which is to either participate in the co-working streams or get updates on my games, and they can kind of get things depending on which they're interested in. So I would say, if you're thinking about a Discord for your own game, like first think about, is it the right time, or do I want to just like finish developing it first? Do I want to start a newsletter so it's just a one-way communication for a while until I'm ready to invite more people in? And then after, if you decide you're ready, I would say like, what is the goal? Like, why are people not going to just drag this down into a folder, right? We're all in like probably hundreds of Discords at this point, right? What's going to make them not drag it down into a folder? Why are they going to keep it up top? And like, what event is going to keep them like wanting to check it and see what's going on? So I would say, yeah, decide if it's necessary, and then decide what the goal of the community is that keeps people coming back.
I have an example of the dead Discord that I came back to, the Nope Challenge Discord, which is full of a bunch of 13-year-olds, like maybe, and they love Nope Challenge, but it just kind of like didn't get an update for a while, so I got back on the project, and I just started playing other games with them. Whatever games they wanted to play, we hop in chat. I just started getting to know them. We hop in Dead by Daylight. I made one of them play Peak with me, and then one of them, he walks me through Roblox. And so now people have decided to try to like get the Discord back up, stir the pot. I now have this knowledge of Roblox. This kid taught me. He just took me on a tour, so I kind of like know a little bit about that. It was very cool. This one's still a little bit, but it's not as bad as it was before.
So I think that's a really good point, is that even though it's a Discord for Nope, you are engaging about other things that the people that are interested in Nope are also interested in.
Yeah, they're really passionate about like the Dioko and the clowns, and they really want those characters to be in Roblox, because apparently they use like Five Nights at Freddy's characters, and they just want to do like this asymmetrical like Dead by Daylight 3D style, like one person haunts multiple people, and they're like, we want Dioko in there. I'm like, that's not.
Yeah, that's really cool. But I'm glad that you were able to like kind of recognize that, right? And nurture it, and not just be like, oh, they're talking about something else that's not Nope, so that's not relevant, but like to see, yes, this is what they want to talk about and what's interesting for them. Yeah. I don't let my kids play Roblox. But anyway, moving on. So, moving off of Discord, I'm sure Discord will come up again, which is fine. But what is something, or is there anything, and everybody doesn't have to necessarily have an answer for this. If you don't have an answer for it, it's okay. What is something that you thought would grow your community but totally didn't work? Or the community was just like, that's not, I don't care.
I tried the stream thing, the weekly stream thing that we did with Battle Slots again on UEFN, on Cart Royale. And it's very hard to get people out of Fortnite into the internet. It's so hard. You really gotta be brain rot, or you gotta know the zeitgeist so hard.
Right.
That did not work as well.
Yeah. Anybody else?
So we thought we'll just bring in a community manager, and that'll magically make everything happen. Like that's gonna be the thing that's gonna bring everybody in. Ultimately it wasn't, and we had this one guy, he was a big he was a mid-sized streamer, and we're like, oh, he's a streamer, so he's gonna bring in all of his folks, and that just didn't really happen. What we didn't really recognize at the time, and it wasn't really until we talked to Briles about it, is that we as the game devs needed to be active in the server. We needed to participate, we needed to interact and say, hey, this is what we're thinking, these are the games we're playing, what do you think? And we were of the opinion that like, no, that's somebody else's job. And ultimately, you as the game dev, as the studio, it is your job to interact with your community.
That's great. Anybody else want to add, or do you want me to move on? Move on. Covered? Okay. Okay. So if there's anybody here that is launching their first game or project, what are like a couple concrete steps that you think they could take like right now to like first get started to build their community? Like what would be your advice to someone that's like, hey, I'm launching my game and I'm whatever, like what would be your like maybe top 2 things of like, oh, you should probably start with this and this, right? Like, because they probably do have limited resources, I'm just going to assume. So what advice would you all give them?
So I'm a planner, and so it's going to be no surprise that I say this, but honestly, have a plan, have a mission. Like, why are you trying to do the community? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing it now? And keep that in mind so you can bring in the people who are going to engage with you. Also, plan on how you're going to reward your community members. Like, what are they getting out of this? Are they getting a special Discord tag? Are they getting like a pin or something? Like, what can you offer to them? And then the second thing I would say is just grab your friend, grab your best friend, hop in the Discord, just start, whenever you would chat about games or something like that, do it in the Discord as opposed to your text messages. Just get that conversation going.
So real quick before the rest of you chime in, I really love your point about what's your goal? Have a goal. Like, yes, everyone wants a community for their game, but like why? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to get wish lists? Are you trying to get playtesters? Are you trying to get market? Like, what is your goal? So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, and speaking of goals, part of that is who's your target audience for the game. And a lot of times at playtest nights, it's mostly game developers and their friends and families, so that's not necessarily your target audience. They're probably very comfortable using all the controls and they're pretty intuitive with it. So it's good to try to go to events that more closely represent people who come from different demographics, different age groups, and not necessarily like a tech or gaming background. And for me, I didn't really experience that until going to Korea because my game is, the story is based in Korea on Jeju Island. So I actually went to Jeju Island and attended a diving school there to conduct research. And that's where people just kind of went out of their way to start, to help me and support my project. And they were just, I can't even, I never could have anticipated how much they would go out of their way to help me get interviews with press, and I even got to meet the governor of Jeju Island because they went that far out of their way to help me. So that's, for me, it helped me realize the key audience is obviously in Korea because the culture is so meaningful for them, and it's part of their history. And in the United States, I have to think a little bit differently about who to talk to and who maybe they're interested in scuba diving or things like that, or free diving as more of a competitive sport, but they're not familiar with free diving as more of a cultural kind of way of life. So it's really interesting, like depending on where you are, like there might be different events that you need to go to, and once you get there, it's great to just have a sheet of paper and a pen and just say, hey, if you want to be a playtester or you want updates, please put your email down, your name, and I'd love to stay in touch, and that's helped so much.
I definitely echo that with the email. But I think, okay, so let's say you're starting your first game and you just launched your Steam page and you're like, how do I get people excited about this or whatever? I think the first thing I would do is try to find local community. I think most of the people I'm looking at out here are already doing that, right? Because those are going to be the first people that jump in your Discord and start chatting in there, or like you make a post on Instagram, they'll leave comments on it and saying funny things. So it feels more lively that there's at least a few people that are going to be in your corner. So I would say that's a big first step. And then also like I'm starting to get a little cold on Discord and Steam wish lists are great. Like you gotta get on the wish list grind, but like the thing that I'm really like now kind of starting to put more energy in is my monthly newsletter. I'm like, okay, I write it once a month. I put a lot of effort into it. I do like game reviews in there. I try to have fun with it. And I just think that I don't have to like worry, oh, did someone post something awful? Is there a bot on my Discord right now posting something awful? Do I have to check it every day? It's like, no, I write it once a month. I get some nice comments on it. People tell me they like it. And it's just very low effort. So I think like, and there's a lot of advantages it has. Like Steam wishlist, like your game comes out, they get the notification, it goes on sale, they get a notification. They don't really get to know you deeper. There's not like a way that they can become more involved from it. So I think that's a thing that more developers should be doing. And I think it's easier than Discord, as long as you kind of set the intention and the rhythm of it.
I definitely echo everything everyone said, but also I want to add a little sprinkle of social media into it because our local community, like when we're all talking to each other locally, like the numbers, the social media numbers, that zeitgeist doesn't matter so much because if we all start circulating each other's content, it becomes like a local machine on that little algorithm. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, just in addition to local community, if everybody posts on like a platform and shares everyone's stuff, that's a really good way to spread the word.
Love that, thank you. Okay, so how can being part of or building a game community open doors professionally for someone?
You never know who you're gonna.
You never know who you're going to meet next, and you never know what that person's going to be doing 5 years from now. 10 years from now, networking is really, it's a cheat code.
Yeah, if you think of like who you would hire to work on your game, it's going to be someone you know and trust and like have like fond memories of working with them like on a game jam or whatever in the past. Like I would so much rather hire someone that I know I love working with and we're going to make a crappier game, right? I don't care. Like I want to have fun making the game, right? And so I want to hire someone that I know and trust and have a good time working with. So that's people that you know in person usually. Or maybe you have a deep connection from online gaming together with, But yeah, I do think like forming those connections with people, letting them know what you're about, supporting them, always good things come of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I've had that same experience. I had so many opportunities for jobs. Like pretty much all the jobs I've had came from connections I made at the meetups and just going out there and just inserting myself into random conversations of complete strangers and say, hey, can I chat with you guys? And whether that's in the Bay Area or here, honestly, I love like the cozy community vibe here in the Triangle, and it's very different from San Francisco where things are like a bit more spread out across like, the Bay Area. But here it's all kind of like Durham and the Triangle Interactive Arts Collective have just been such awesome events, and like just like you, I always think about game jams as a great opportunity to kind of interview each other, and you may not necessarily want to work together like long term, but you can at least kind of narrow down people you definitely wouldn't want to work with, and then over time, like you can get a sense for, hey, like, this person's pretty cool, like I'm gonna go chat with them at the next meetup, and then you just keep seeing each other at events, and you can kind of sense an energy, and so many collaborations happen from that. I'm always kind of in the back of my mind thinking, like, when I do raise funding, I'm gonna hire that person because I just love talking to them, and they just, they go out of their way to help people, and, they're not part of the community because they're looking for a job necessarily, but you can just kind of passively observe and take mental notes, and I think that works great.
In addition to the networking aspect, I would also say share your stuff. Really showcase what you're capable of, what you're passionate about. There's so many people that I know in the community that are great, but I feel like they don't necessarily know their stuff. And when it comes to just, I may not want this, but I can say, oh, my friend over here is looking for something very similar. Here's their work, and it's share your stuff.
Yeah, I think that in my entire career, not even gaming, it's like the best doors that have always opened for me are ones just through people that I met. Not me randomly applying to some job board or something like that, but it's like the connections, the real life connections that you make with people, that if you're a genuine, authentic person, you never know what that person's gonna need. And even sometimes things that maybe you don't do now, but somebody you meet might be like, this person seems like they'd be really good at this thing. And maybe it's something you've never even considered doing as a career, but you get that little nudge from someone that like, man, you'd be an awesome producer or an awesome community manager or an awesome whatever. And you're like, yeah, I never really thought about that. So I feel like the people you surround yourself with professionally like can sometimes see things in you that you don't see in yourself and can really kind of help propel you to that next phase if you want to be propelled. But yeah, like I think it's a bigger deal than like people give it credit for. Like I know everyone always says networking's important, but like it really, yeah, it's friendship, man. It's friendship power, man. We got to do friendship power, boom. Okay. So sorry, I had to do that. Okay. So let's move on to the bad times, the hard times, the tough times. What's one of like the hardest moments that you faced managing community, and how did you handle it? And I'll go ahead and start so you guys can like stew on it a little bit, okay? When I first got involved with IGDA, there were a couple people that like felt like IGDA should be this very specific thing for very specific people. And it was very gatekeepy, and it was very just like not what I wanted it to be, not what David wanted it to be for sure. And it was kind of tough in the beginning to like we wanted to welcome everyone that wanted to participate, but like when you get kind of bad apples coming in that like want to bring that energy down and bring the vibe down and like be exclusive, like you don't want to turn away potential like members either. So it was really kind of a hard balancing act of like, how do we kind of get these people not out, but just like to have less of a say in what we do. And I think David and I were able to kind of manage that. And I mean, I've worked with lots of difficult people, but like that was tough because we did want to be so inclusive. Everyone has a voice, but this voice was just so negative and just so like not good for the group. But I think we were able to kind of, and even that person, I don't think they were like a bad person. I think they just had these preconceived notions that we were able to kind of bring them around a little bit. So like, no, this really should be more inclusive, and here's why this is important. And they kind of came around. But that was really hard for me because I was, I know everything's not kumbaya. Like, I've worked on huge teams of people. I know that's not how it is. But like, I was kind of hoping it would be a little kumbaya. So that was my tough moment.
Practical Interactive Arts Collective has been kumbaya for the entirety of its existence.
I don't know about that.
Almost. Compared to the recent events of the AI, it's just like AI is so polarized. It's such a hot topic right now, and being an interactive collective of devs and artists means that there's people fighting on both sides of the extreme, and it is impossible to get them to remember that we are a collective of beautiful humans who love each other. And for whatever reason, like we know the reasons, but it's just like we are in the middle of this struggle right now. We are trying to find peace again with it, and I it's just gonna have to blow over. But we're all. I spoke to another nonprofit member at Serious Play who is going through this with her nonprofit, and it's like the exact third time it happened, the same day that our third kind of instance happened of it. And anyway, we're in the middle of trying to figure out how to kumbaya again.
Oh, I just wanted to mention, Briles and I were talking this week about like how can we address things like that, and we started brainstorming, and we haven't experimented with ideas really yet, but we thought about maybe something like a book discussion could help just people focus on, get everyone on the same page about what we're actually talking about, because the term AI even, like that's an umbrella term of so many different technologies. So what are we talking about? What's meaningful to us? What are our values as a collective? And maybe we do need to adapt like the code of conduct to reflect that. And I feel like as a society, that's something we all have to grapple with. So it's just kind of unprecedented.
So mine was more political. We had an individual who posted a meme that had a political flavor to it that wasn't necessarily like pro any one political ideology, but it was still, we're in games. We shouldn't be doing anything. Well, within reason.
Context.
Context. And so for us, it was just a conversation with that individual to be like, hey, like this is what our community is about. You know, please take your post down. We had to ask them to take their post down. And just setting rules. So I think it's good to have guidelines of what's okay and not okay in your community, so that when things come up, you know how to kind of deal with that situation, and you know exactly where you stand. Now, obviously, with the AI conversation, that is a evolving conversation, and it might be different today than it is tomorrow. But it's just about having those guidelines about this is how we talk about it.
Yeah, and I think all of that's super important is that like just because we're a community doesn't mean we all have to have like the same brain and the same beliefs and the same feelings about anything happening in the world, right? Like, but we need to respect everyone and that people are gonna have different opinions about things, and that's okay. That's what makes a community good, right? Is those diverse opinions and ideas and backgrounds and all of that. So I think that is a good point, because I think sometimes people look at communities and they're like, oh, this is just this like homogeneous group of people that they all think the same stuff and they're all bleh. And it's like, no, we're all different, right? We all think differently about different things. Yeah, we may align in certain areas, like as you know, communities do. Sometimes you align in certain areas, but doesn't mean everybody has to feel that way. And yeah, the AI thing is tough because it's there. Like Karen said, there's like a million different things that are around AI. It's not just like one thing. And AI has been being used for years before it became this flashpoint that it is now. So yeah, so thank you for those. Okay, so.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Michael got skipped.
Yeah, it's all good. That's because
Oh, no,
I've
reverse.
never had conflict in any of my communities. One thing like we've never had to like physically restrain people from like an in-person event, like disagreeing with each other, right? You just kind of disagree and you walk over and you talk to someone else, right? And I think there's something about like Discord and online communities that people like the arguing is just so fun. I don't know, it's like very. Sometimes people just want to do it. You know, people want to troll. You know, like, and it's hard to know when to cross the line and when to do this disciplinary thing, right? Because you're gonna have to do it at some point. Like we've done it many times over the years, and it always takes so much energy from everyone that's volunteering behind the scenes. So yeah, I think like just trying to establish the culture of the community kind of very upfront and like intentionally, like that, you know, like we might disagree, but you know, we're here, we're like trying to interact, we're here to like be in person with each other. This is a local community. So I think people, more so than other Discords, I do think people like want to agree and want to get along, right? Because you know you're gonna see that person next Thursday or whatever, right? So I think that being based around an in-person community really helps. And yeah, I don't know what it's just a difficult thing to deal with, and if you have a community, you're gonna have to deal with it in some flavor, in some form.
Sorry to skip you there.
I was collecting my thoughts.
Okay, so now we've got about 10 minutes left. So this is the audience engagement portion. And since looking out in the crowd, I'm very happy to say that I recognize and know many of you, and there are a few faces here that I'm not sure I really know that well yet. So if nobody raises their hand, I will put you on the spot, is the point of all that. Okay, so I'm assuming everybody in here is part of some game community, right? Like most likely. What keeps you coming back to your community? Like who wants to And I am going to run the mic to whoever raises their hand, and I promise if nobody does, I will come give it to you, Garrett. So does anyone want to share what keeps them coming back to their community? Okay, let's start with Garrett. Garrett, what keeps you coming back? Oh, come on, Garrett. Talk about IGDA. Talk about something.
Give me a minute.
Okay, all right, Magnus.
I'll do it to save Garrett.
So one of the things that at least keeps me coming back to the playtest nights at TIOC is that everybody's got these interesting, unique games that I wouldn't find anywhere else if I didn't show up to these playtest nights and get to see random people with their random games that are really cool that you never hear about otherwise. It's also just that I like to help out, so a lot of times I'm like letting go, checking on people, seeing if they need anything. So
Buying
it's
so much pizza.
yeah, I've only done that a couple times, but hey, it's a sense of like just having a group of people you can go and chill and hang out with and get to experience things that you're probably not going to get anywhere else.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I was gonna say I won't make you do it, Garrett.
It's less scary now, thank you. The playtest nights, I love going to those. I've just only a couple, but the value of being able to kind of be around people that can nerd out about the same things as you is so nice. I know there are a couple people there. I've been trying to get deeper into like learning shaders, for example, and a third of the people there know about shaders, and they'll yap with me about it, or they have something cool in their game. They'll ask them about like, how did you do that? It's really cool. And they'll explain it, and it's a lot of fun. Also, just finding people that I want to work with on my projects, So I love those events.
Thank you, Garrett and Magnus. Sorry to put you on the spot like that. Now I feel bad. A little bit. One thing too that I think kind of just popped into my head while you all were talking, that I think has really, really helped me is like I am super socially awkward and introverted when like I don't have a job to do. So I volunteered specifically because it made me more comfortable to attend those events and things. Because it's like, oh, I have a job, I'm giving name tags, and I'm doing this, and I have to make people feel welcome. When I go to something and I don't have anything to do, I am like the most awkward person in the world, and I'm like, should I talk, should I sit, what do I do? And like, it's really sad. So volunteering is like a good way to like meet people and like get out of your shell and like help give you a job so it takes your mind out of like, maybe not everyone's as awkward as me, but like how awkward you might feel. Does anybody else want to share like what keeps them coming back to their communities? Does anybody have any questions for our awesome panelists?
On the topic of like the friction with AI and maybe separately the friction with politics, I'm curious if you guys see any overlap with that sort of conflict, because they both
Yes.
to me feels
Yes, you can tell that someone has been triggered, and it is a fight or flight response. And
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is a fight or flight response that's going on,
Thanks.
and it is no longer the person talking to the person. It is that survival mechanism. It's their nervous system, and they're upset, and they can't see. Like we haven't even gotten to the point where we can actively discuss it to get to the different types of AI and like what they do, because it's just such a umbrella term, and they just instantly are like upset. The panelists yesterday, I was with Toya, was talking about how we were downstairs in the cloud room, and they were like, the prefrontal cortex is shrinking because of all the screens, and people are not able to critically think, and we're going into fight or flight over like anime characters, and people are not playing Gojo, like how do they like, but me too, but like also it's a big deal. But critical thinking needs to make a comeback.
Preach.
Just wanted to share another thing that like came up in our brainstorm chat. Like, what if in these heated conversations where people, if at least one person in the room can recognize, hey guys, we're getting emotional, like we're in fight or flight, maybe get out a sheet of paper and just like write down why we're upset as a group collectively, and just take time to take a little breather. And I don't know, I think that's something we could try next time, like if it happens in person, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think that is very important because that like you said, the fight or flight just kicks in, and people aren't hearing each other. They stop hearing.
Yeah, these are sweethearts.
Yeah.
Sweethearts. And they're just,
Do anybody else have Garrett? Man, now Garrett's on fire. Like once you unleash him.
I just need a warm up. I think Michael maybe mentioned this first, but I think all of you have mentioned something similar of building a community around more than like just your game. For example, you have like a stream involved as well. Do you feel like there's a point at which it's required to go past just your game? And separately, do you feel like there's a point at which your community is too spread thin among a bunch of things?
Yeah, I think once you're at a certain level, like you have like enough people that are excited to talk about like your backlog of games, perhaps, and they're engaging with each other, right? They're all in the same place, and they start forming friendships, and that friendship is what they're coming back there for. I would say that's an instance where you don't necessarily have to be like, oh, now I got to do my game night every Wednesday for my people in my Discord, right? Once it grows, like I don't touch anything with Triangle Interactive anymore. I'm not really involved. Briles is running the show. Tons of other people. I see so many people in the audience here that help all the time with it. So I don't have to host events anymore, and it just goes. So I think once people see what you're trying to do or what the goal of the community is and get excited about it and want to contribute, then it's just like this fire that keeps going. And you might not have to keep throwing logs on every Wednesday, So, yeah.
That fire is strong, man. It's burning bright. And when I was my term was coming to an end with the IGDA stuff, and I had too much other stuff going on, and I have my good friend Ashley here that I know would just totally kill it and keep it trucking. It was nice to be able to pass that torch and be like, here, keep the fire going, keep it burning, and hopefully, the wheels keep rolling and everybody's having a good time. And she's been killing it. So it is nice to be able to pass that torch, and people like Garrett have stayed on and helped out, while I bailed and stuff. So it's great. Okay, so we are almost out of time, but I want to give everybody on the panel an opportunity to, do a final farewell. If you have a dance or a poem you want to read, or if you want to just, I'm totally joking. If you want to just give everyone a call to action or any final thoughts of, hey, so I'll go first. So I want to thank all of you for sitting and listening to us. I want to thank my amazing panelists and good friends, all of them, very good friends. I feel very fortunate to have them all in my life. But please play my bingo, is the final thing I'll say. That's the QR up there. So please play. They're giving away prizes tonight, and they're good prizes. There's a cool gaming backpack, an over-the-ear headset. There's an earbud headset. And also I would like to thank Jatovi for putting all this together, because otherwise we wouldn't be here, and everybody that's helped. So thank you all.
I want to give a huge thank you to Michael and Briles for the community you guys have built, and obviously Vince and Kirk and so many people in the audience, Kat and it's just, thank you so much. But I also, Briles, thank you so much for putting this together. This has been amazing. You did so much work. It really shows. You did a fantastic job. Thank you.
Tiak helped. It's all Tiak.
Yeah, thanks, Tiak, Jacoby. This is amazing, and this is the first time we've had this event, and not everyone knew what to expect, but I'm looking forward to next year already, and we'll see what that looks like. But yeah, I would love to have you come try my game and check it out and share your feedback. I would love your input on how it can be improved.
Oh, you get two mics now. You're talking to both of them.
I'm so happy that this all exists. It's so cool. Thanks everyone. I echo everything. Yeah, it's amazing. And my answer before, when I was you don't have to be throwing fire on it. It's other people are really putting in a lot of effort, and I really appreciate that I was able to kind of become a dad and not have to worry about the group so much anymore. If you want to learn about what a newsletter about your game could be, you can sign up for my newsletter and just copy what I'm doing. Right? Sign up for the Tomato Club, so you can copy what I'm doing.
Beans Meme Corner.
Yeah, Beans Meme Corner. Yeah.
Thank you to Triangle Interactive Arts Collective. Jimmy, Sid, y'all helped so much. Christina, you with the game jams and the playtest nights everyone raves about. Magas, man, Garrett's just hanging out. Sam's back there. Man, yep. Thank you. I'm excited about Oak City Indie Games on October 24th. That's going to be our next big thing. We'll also be at the Art Museum on the 15th. from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then we'll be at Gaming Geek Expo too.
Awesome. And all that, our QRs to all our info's up here if anybody wants to scan them. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. Woo! Thank you. Thanks guys, that was great. Did you get it turned off?
I also want to thank all the game devs for being here. Thank you so much, all the indie